practicing and getting everybody comfortable. So that's got to be squared away very, very soon, which it will be. But you know, there will be some semblance of what you've already seen through these pictures and through the edge. Meaning, will you absolutely have turf? I can't promise you that, but you've got to have some way of, you know, demarcating this 800 square foot area. Do we want you to have very bright colored walls so it stands out and it grabs their attention? Absolutely, don't see a problem with that. Will you have the variety of toys that they have there? To some extent, sure. You may not have tires or sledgehammers, but it's going to be some semblance of that. It has to be. There's going to be a little bit of a build out. And what I mean by a build out is, you know, a section of wall that has, you know, one color on it, and maybe it's got a logo of some sort that you guys go with, so they know that this is where team training happens.
So if everybody gets by Friday, each person, 10 to 6 months BFT agreements, I'll get you what you want.
All right. Take one down, pass it around. Well, actually, give me one. No, thanks. Yeah. Does June from Juno have one of these? They have the copy? Okay, perfect. Do me a favor, can we go back to the camera? Because we're kind of done with the PowerPoint itself for now, for the most part. There's some other stuff. I
don't want to call this like CrossFit, but does it have a style of like classes and community and like the feel?
It could speak to the audience. Yeah.
Do you like get that kind of?
The ingredients of a CrossFit is exactly what we're talking about, but does it look, smell, and feel like a CrossFit?
Yeah,
people like screaming, you know. I mean, it's got to be a more toned down, polished, professional version of that. We're not going to create garages in here with, you know, powder all over people's faces and throwing kegs. I'm not saying that's what happens in CrossFit, but that kind of, you know, it's going to be a toned down version of that, right? What they do very well is they are very, very good at creating community.
Yeah, the community.
Very good at creating community.
They make you feel really bad if you don't come back.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know.
I mean, like, in a good way.
Yeah. In a good way, right? They do a great job. They do a great job getting people to rely on each other during the class. And that's a perfect segue into what we're going to be looking at. This is just a very generic template. It will be modified based upon the final class style that you guys give, but I want to give you an idea of what David's going to be looking at. Here is the anatomy of a good team training class. Okay, so we're gonna kind of talk through these things. We'll clarify. We'll give you some examples. We'll do this up to the point of lunch being here, and then once lunch is done, we're gonna go on the workout floor.
You have the cars up and then you get it, all right?
Yep.
Stop doing that.
Yeah. Okay, the first section, obviously, you know, that's universal. You know what? Are we on time? You know, the last thing in the world David wants to see is the team is there and the coach is coming in late, right? I mean, that is just, that's not a coach. The coach is there before the players get there, right?
10-2.
What's that?
10-2.
10-2. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
All right. You know, obviously, greeting, the single, this is the single most important thing I want you to underline, the word introductions. You've got to make sure, remember, these are open classes, right? That means you may not have the same team every Wednesday at 5:30, but you need to make them feel like they're part of that team and they've been there all along. So when a class is getting ready to start, hence you have to be there 10 minutes prior, right? Because you can't create that community if you're running in late and you got to jump right into the class. You've got to pay attention. These are things that you may not have to have had focused on as a one-on-one coach, but connecting people during the introduction is the most important part. If you see a new face, what do?
Just welcome
Call 'em
them,
out.
yeah. Have them
Call 'em
introduce
out
them,
and
this is so-and-so,
Yeah.
and have everyone else acknowledge them and introduce themselves too.
Okay, so give me an example of how you can take some, like, I could do that. What's your name? Carlo.
Carlo, yeah.
Carlo, okay.
I've heard Carlos my whole life, it's okay.
Hey guys, just want to let you know, this is Carl O. Okay, did I make sure that everybody knows Carlo?
Yeah.
Okay, was it a show? It was pretty generic, right? Okay, so how could I really make Carlo feel like he belongs here?
You can make it like an AA meeting.
Hi, Carlo.
Say your name. Hi, Carlo.
Okay, I got you. All right. I was like, all right, where's he going? Give me an example. Like, do it.
What?
Introduce
Yeah.
Carlo, he's new to the group.
Yeah,
Everyone
she's
say
good.
hi, Carlo.
Hi, Carlo. Sit.
Hi guys.
That was lame.
Carlo's gonna be joining us.
I mean, Carlo, that made you feel like you're here for your first time, didn't it?
Pretty much.
Yeah. How do we make him feel like he belongs here?
What I've done in the past is like if somebody, because the same situation in the studio I worked in, people would come to my class even if they haven't been in my class before, but they have done classes already. So I'd say, hey, you're new to the group, what's your name? My name's Carmen, and tell us a little bit about what you've done here so far at our studio, and then they'd be like, oh, I've been here for a while, I've been a member for a year, and I've done Steve's class all the time, and I just want to try a new one, and say, great, that's awesome, we all, been working together for a while, and you're going to fit right in, it just depends on the person, so
Okay.
depends on what they say.
We all got your back.
You're making a face like you just.
No, I was waiting for you, but you.
Oh, okay.
Shy people, they're like,
There's some people who don't want to talk too, and they come in and they're like, "Oh yeah, I've been doing this for a while," and then they just kind of like shut down. But then sometimes other people in the group would be like, "Oh, it's so nice to have you here,"
Okay, so I love the examples you're giving me, but we're dependent upon
Others.
unique situations and how the group responds, right?
Yeah.
Better yourself.
That's not what the coach does. The coach controls it. The coach ensures that you respond to this new person the way I want you to respond to it, right? So how do we do that?
High fives.
High five. Hey Carlo, this is Carlo. It's his first time in the gym. Hey Carmen, she's gonna work with you today. If you have any questions while the class is going on, you feel free to ask her or myself.
Okay, I love your start, right? Do your start again.
Hey, this is Carlo.
Right? Energy, right?
Yeah.
This
Absolutely.
is his first time in the gym. We all want to make him feel welcome today.
Yep. And
I'm
then
gonna have
what,
you.
I love your
Carlo's gonna be
energy.
your partner.
Then what I would do as a trainer is I'd go around, remember 8 people, right? I should know my teammates, right? Okay,
Yeah,
Carlos,
Jeff.
this is Carmen, right? She loves to hike. Right? Go around the room, tell Carlo something about everybody in the class so he feels like he knows them. And then bring them together on 3. Say the name of your class, whatever it is. Like these guys here at the edge, they say strong on 3. 1, 2, 3, strong. Right? So you're making Carlo feel like he knows the people, but you're immediately bringing them in to participate. That's how you take control of the class and make someone feel like they belong right from the beginning. Right? I may say, everybody, Carlo. Carlos is Carmen, she likes to golf. I'll go around the room, boom, boom, boom. Travis. Somebody just hung up on him. Or I lost him. Oh, that was my email, sorry. Travis.
I was like, what?
Travis,
Yes.
over here.
Oh god.
You're taking
Really?
care.
Am
You're
I
taking.
moving?
No. All right.
You're gonna take care of it.
Yeah.
Carlo, Travis is my lead. Okay. He's gonna make sure he's got your back the whole time today. All right. The whole group's got your back, but he's got his eyes on you. All right. You're in good hands today. I mean, you gotta be. I told the story yesterday. Yes, it was yesterday. So you weren't PT managers weren't here yesterday, were they?
No.
No? Okay, I'm going to tell you my Peyton Manning story.
Wait.
I mean, yes.
Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Yes, the Peyton
Did you
Manning.
meet him?
Okay? He is to football in my mind as to what Derek Jeter is to baseball, right? And couple seasons ago, Peyton Manning was playing the San Diego Chargers. If you've been through my sales training, you probably have heard this before. Okay, a couple seasons ago, Peyton Manning was playing the San Diego Chargers at home field in Denver, and they were playing I just said San Diego Chargers, right? And the guy who runs the big jumbotron screen at the stadium, flashing pictures and getting the crowd all excited, he would flash the image of Phillip Rivers, the quarterback from the Chargers, on the screen, and the crowd would go, boo, right? And then he would flash immediately the picture of Peyton Manning's face on the screen, and the crowd would go, right? Yeah. And Peyton Manning picks up the field phone, calls Carlos, who's operating Jumbotron.
Carlos?
Carlo.
No S.
Carlo.
It's okay, I've read it for
All right.
24 years.
Hold on. The phone's ringing, pick up the phone, ring.
He's not answering now.
Hello. Hi, Peyton.
He knew it was Peyton. This is starting off good, right? Hey, Carlo. Listen, if we've got to do that to get our crowd excited, we got bigger problems. Okay, we don't play the game of football that way. We don't show people up. You got that? You clear?
I'm clear.
That's going to end right now, isn't it?
Got it.
Okay. Boom. As I tell the story, I share people with the significance of that act and that event. You always hear the good things about people, but then there's always a catch, right? There's always something it's like that really doesn't exist in our world. Like the whole Lance Armstrong thing, right? Everybody was just, Lance is the greatest in the world, and then boom, he just let us down, right? Tiger Woods, the best in the world, boom, he lets us down with his character, right?
Tom Brady.
What's that?
I said Tom Brady.
Yeah. That's debatable.
Yeah.
But you got Peyton Manning, arguably the greatest quarterback to ever play the game in the NFL. And he's playing on the biggest stage in the world. He's done everything you could possibly do. There's nothing more. His book is closed. He can ride off into the sunset right now. And he chose to act on something that was wrong, even at the expense of this billion-dollar industry that he's a part of. And I share that example because is there any question, if you play for the Broncos and you're in a huddle, is there any question who's in charge?
Mm-mm.
It's number 18, right? It was number 18. Is that it?
Yep.
So my point is, when you're driving a team training class, you have to be unquestionably 100% in charge. But you've got to do it with professionalism. You've got to do it the right way. You can't bully people, you can't boss people around, but you have to take control of the team. And that might be difficult for some of you in here. I'm kind of seeing body language, I'm seeing how some of you react today to the way the day's going down. Some of you are a little bit more quiet, some of you are a little bit more vocal, some of you have no fear, bring it on, right? But if you want to teach a team training class, you heard it from David, you've got first dibs on this, but you've got to be able to step up to the plate and take control of the class. You can't be quiet, you can't be timid, you can't be afraid to say, hey guys, gather up, right? In fact, that's a great way to kick off your class, your introduction. All right, guys, gather up, take a knee, right? That's what a coach does. You're saying, I'm in control, all right? So we can say, all right, guys, gather up, take a knee. Everybody, Carlo. Carlo, everybody. Okay, Carlo, that's Carmen. Her favorite color is purple. That's Debbie. She likes a porterhouse, right? Carlo, that's Carmen. He likes to flip.
Cameron.
Right? Cameron. He likes to flip tires. All right. I saved the best for last. This is Travis. He's my co-pilot. He's been doing this class for like 6 years. Just kidding. He's going to take good care of you today.
Take the other's wing.
All right.